Welcome to this video. Yeah, this is a new video about one of my over-the-board classical time control tournament games. This game was played just a couple of days ago in the Dutch league, the top league in the Netherlands, the Meesterklasse, Master League, Master Class, something like that would be the translation. Yeah, we played with my team. We played the Dutch team champion, and my opponent was Friso Nijboer. Nijboer is a player in his mid-40s. He's been strong GM for a long time. His top rating was above 2,600, 2,630 or something like that. Nowadays he's about 2,550. So I was a slight underdog in this game, and I had the black pieces. Again, it was a third black game in a row in the Netherlands, and it's quite funny that in all three games the position after 12 moves was identical. So let's have a look. Nijboer is an e4 player, and he's a very dangerous attacking player and very good tactician. So I didn't mind to play relatively close position. So let's see what happened. He plays the Ruy Lopez and I play with a6. It's all very classical and well known. And well, I don't play the martial attack, so I went to d6, c3 now. This is done to get a square for the bishop, castles. And now h3. This is the absolute main position of the Ruy Lopez, the closed Ruy. Maybe nowadays you could argue that the Berlin is the main line of the Ruy, but this here, the position after move 9 h3 will always be one of the main points of action in the Ruy, because it is pretty much principled play for both sides once a6 has been played on move 3. Yeah, so here I play knight a5, the Chigorin. This is the oldest line available here for black, and still maybe the main line in terms of the pure number of games played. On top level, people nowadays very often tend to play knight b8, the Breyer system, or bishop b7, the Decisive. Yeah, but I play knight a5, bishop c2, c5. This is one merit of the move knight a5. With knight a5 you actually gain a tempo on the bishop because it wants to retreat to c2, don't want to trade the valuable Spanish bishop. And with this tempo gained, black has the time to push this c5 move. The Chigorin is actually the only line available to black on move 9 that makes sure that the c-pawn is used immediately. In all other lines, it can happen that this c5 move is delayed for quite a while or not made altogether. Yeah, d4 is played, and queen c7. Yeah, this I played really tons of times already. Knight bd2 and knight c6. Yeah, knight c6 here is not a main line. It is, however, one of the oldest lines available for black, and the line that I have played numerous times in tournament chess. I had a video on my channel. This game was played, I think, in September, where I had a game against Arthur Pipers in the Dutch league where he traded. The other main move is d5, and well, this is the total main line. D takes c5 is a side variation. d5 was played in round 2 by a strong international master, Tuan Burg. He's a 2,500 player, and this was round 2. I didn't do a video on this game because, frankly, nothing much happened. We got a very close position that is in fact quite comparable to what I get in the game against Nijboer, and he offered a relatively quick draw, like after 23 moves or something, and well, I didn't object to a draw against a somewhat stronger player. It was okay for the team, so this was pretty much a non-game. It wasn't worth presenting in a video. Yeah, d5 here played by Nijboer, and I went knight to d8. This looks very strange, yeah, this knight to d8 move, but it has a point. Black is aiming for defensive setup. This line here is part of my repertoire for quite a long time. And it is part of my repertoire because, well, the first book that I bought on the Ruy Lopez's Black featured this line, done by the Romanian grandmaster and theoretician Michael Marin, as Yasser Saravan pronounces it. I always think this sounds like some DJ. Well, whatever. This is the line that he recommended, and, well, to be honest, I didn't like it that much. But, well, it was in the book, so I have had a look at it, and I started to play it, and I had good results. So I stuck with that, and I'm playing the line to that day. I never lost with it in tournament chess. So let's see. A4, rook b8, b4. Yeah, this is a very good approach for white. He wants to gain space on the queen side, and with a pawn on b4, it looks at those two squares. The knight on d8 has no future on the queen side. Putting it on b7 would be really foolish in a way, because you're only looking at squares that are controlled. This was one of the main mistakes that that Wolfgang Unzicker made in his game against Karpov in Nice, 1970. Is it 1974? I featured this game on my channel in the middle game section, or was it the Chess Giant section? If you search for Unzicker in my channel, you will find the game. Yeah, I went c4, closing the queen side. Knight f1, the typical regrouping, and now knight to e8. Yeah, this is the idea that black has with the setup. What he wants to do is, he wants to put his knights on g7 and f7 after g6, f6. One knight here, bishop on d7. So you have a setup on the 7th rank. And I always kind of like that setup. It is a very defensive setup, but it is very, very solid and tough to break down. I have won games with this quite often, surprisingly, with this somewhat passive looking setup. And now Nijboer plays an interesting plan, and it is it should be mentioned that he played all this instantly, so it seemed a lot like preparation to me, and this is a bit surprising, because in the Dutch league, I mean, if he would have known that he played me as white, this is clear, yeah, that he would prepare for that, because I have played this line before. He plays e4, this all pieces together nicely. But in the Dutch league, you don't have a fixed board order, yeah, the board order is changed in each match and can be altered. You can play board 9 on one occasion or board 2. So we played this on board 2. Nijboer plays one of the top boards anyway, but I could also appear on more board 4, 5, 7, whatever. And actually it is my 3rd game in a row with black, which made it very unlikely that I would appear on move 2 with black again, as you normally want to alternate colors. It was a slight glitch that I had black again. I didn't mind it that much, but it made it very hard for him to anticipate playing me, but he still seemed to have prepared against me somehow. Yeah, knight 3h2. Actually, I think that this is a very good move. What he's doing is the following. Bishop d7, that's clear, I need to do that. And now he played a5. The point of knight to h2 is f4, by the way. We will see this in short order. He played a5, however, and he played it quickly. And that's an interesting moment, really, this a5 move. Because during the game, my initial reaction was that this is a bad move, actually. I was thinking it is a bad move, because I thought normally white should benefit from opening the a file. He's got potential points of entry on a7. His rook is on the a file, so I rather expected something like that to happen. He could play rook a7, which, okay, it doesn't lead to much. I can trade the rooks. But still, I thought he should keep the option open of keeping on b5 or just take on b5. I thought a5 wasn't really any good. But during the game, I sort of reconsidered, because it does two things that I didn't really appreciate at first. Playing a5 makes sure that there's no trades happening on the queen side at all. In my game against Nijboer, we had all rooks traded on the A file, which was possible because he really played a very imprecise move order. And with all rooks gone, lots of white's potential is also gone. So with A5, he makes sure that there are no trades on the queen side. It does a second thing. Sometimes black has the idea bishop d8 to b6 to exchange the bishop. Okay, well, that's not possible anymore. Theoretically speaking, you can do this kind of snake-like maneuver, but this takes ages and will probably not ever be completed. So it's an interesting way to make sure that black is not trading stuff and sort of relieving himself because he has got less space. Also, in some cases, it might be an idea that a6 is now a fixed pawn. Yeah, some maneuver like here, g4, c8, taking here. I know it is a deep endgame idea, but it is in the position. Yeah, during the game I thought, okay, he can do that. It's no mistake. It has advantages to exchange on b5. In other, other aspects are also an advantage. Having a wow, let's start again. If you take on b5, there are other points that are in white's favor. So I wasn't sure at first, but now I think it's, yeah, he can do both actually. We will see one point that is different after this f4 move. I played f6 now. Yeah, f6, it looks very passive, I know. But black is not in a position after the move f4. That definitely will happen. After this move to use the e5 square only with pieces. It's not possible, unfortunately. Something like bishop to e5, knight to d7 or something, it's not going to work. I have to play with f6 and block the whole thing. So I played f6 right away, f4, and now I took. I think black should take, really, because if you don't do that, you can start with a move like knight f7, but then white has the additional option to play f5. After which, admittedly, it is very closed, but also very simple for white to play. He will get in g5 eventually, and, well, this is very passive. Well, not that the game is very active, but it's better to have the e5 post. One point, however, after the capture on f4 is, if we go back what I took here. One point for white, however, is something that we will see right away. I'm regrouping my knight. And he goes here. This is a big point of this f4 move. With f4 and the trade against the e-pawn, white has relinquished the e5 square. Black has a knight there, which is nice. But the knight, by the way, is not attacking anything. That's very important. Yeah? It's a nicely positioned piece that, however, is not having a clear target. But white, on the other hand, has gained something. The d4 square for his knight. It's very important. So white has a clear compensation in the center, let's say, for black centralized knight in his knight on d4. This is, by the way, also a difference of pawns being traded on b5 or not. With the pawn traded instead of advanced to a5, b5 actually would be attacked by the knight, and black has to use one piece all the time to keep b5 safely protected. This is also something that made me believe that a5 is not so good. But, well, we see in the game it has some merit, yeah. It's I think it's okay. It's an interesting idea that Nijboer played here. Also, during the game, again, I realized when you look at those moves, they are very natural. Yeah? Rook f1, rook e8, put this here. I realized that it is very difficult for black to really do anything here. Yeah, this a5 move, it sort of kills the queen side as a battleground. I mean, even as a ground for exchanges. So it's all on the king side, and on the king side, I have absolutely no idea what I can do. I cannot really play f5, as this square is controlled tons of times. Something like g5, I mean, it has no idea and is totally ridiculous. They're giving up f5. So I can push no pawns. I just can only sit and wait here. What I can do, the only active idea, very long term, would be to try to exchange the e7 bishop via h6 which in fact later I get to play, but I realized that really this is very, very passive, yeah. With the a file open in comparison, I could think about moves like rook a8, yeah, just trading stuff, or bishop d8, b6, as I mentioned. But this is not really on here, so a5 is an interesting strategy, really. Yeah, bishop d8 is what I played. I intended knight f7 to g5, and well, to be honest, I didn't really know what to do besides, well, sitting and waiting. Rook a e1, knight f7, bishop h2, and knight g5. Yeah, I'm actually threatening something. He went back knight d1. Yeah, mission accomplished. I got to g5 and attacked his pawn, but what am I doing now? It's really not much fun, yeah. You're just sitting there and await proceedings. After a while, I actually decided to just go back here and put it again on e5. I know it looks poor, but, well, you cannot really do something active anyway. Rook e2, knight e5, and he went back to e3. Yeah, and here I decided that the only plan that I have really is to try to exchange this bishop via h6. So something like that. And I thought, okay, well, this is the only idea, then I should try to get it in. Bishop e7, g4. Yeah, g4 is a fairly normal move in this kind of position. You look at f5 even more so that it can never be played. And there's also the idea h4 and g5. Rook f7, yeah, clearing the way for the bishop. Rook g2, and now I went to c8. Yeah, keeping an additional eye on g4 so that h4, yeah, now is not really on. It's also okay, really. Yeah, he went queen e2, protecting g4 once more. And I went king h8, again angling for this bishop trade. Rook f2, f2, he's slowly improving. Queen d2. Queen d2. Yeah, queen d2. This is a little trappy move, yeah. Black could consider h5, yeah, trying to nibble at this pawn, but then white has this, oops, and queen h6 mate. It's the big threat. So white just wins with knight takes c4. Yeah, so h5 is a big mistake. I didn't fall for that. I went knight d8. Yeah, again according to this idea. Bishop to d1. Yeah, actually here, around here, I think he slightly lets me into the game. Yeah. Instead, I think bishop f4 was an idea. Just already, yeah, putting it on f4 to prevent bishop h6. He sort of ignored the idea. I went to f8. And now h4. Yeah. The problem is, or problem is a little bit too much, but if you want to prevent this, you run into knight d3. And all of a sudden, black is totally fine. So h4. Not this, but h4. Yeah, and here I went rook e7. Yeah, I want knight f7, bishop h6 if possible. And this is not a bad square anyway. Yeah? I'm threatening knight d3 now, as e4 is a weak pawn. Played rook f1, getting out of knight d3, and now I went bishop h6. Yeah, the position is still good for white, but it is very difficult to play, and we approach time control now. The whole thing costs quite some time, even if it was lots of shuffling. We still have to look at all the various ideas. Yeah, g5 he played, and I took on g5. And it seems that bishop g7 was better, but okay. Here white could have gotten a pretty substantial advantage with yeah, slightly untypical move, and this is bishop takes e5. I know that I didn't really consider this move at all. It looks very weird to take on e5 here, to be totally honest. The problem is that if black now recaptures with the pawn, there is knight c6, and this gives white a tremendous game. Yeah, if we, oops, that was a wrong button. I'm sorry for that. Let me put this on the board. Yeah, and here, as mentioned, he could have taken on e5. What is rook takes e5? Didn't I analyze that? Yeah, rook takes e5 is probably, yeah, this is probably the same thing, right? Yeah, well, this is the problem, yeah. I can now take on g5, can take here, and at the end here, white has a tremendous position, and he will get e5. It's not fun. It's not fun. But bishop takes e5 wasn't considered by both of us, and he just recaptured with the pawn. Yeah, I went to g7, and here it's interesting. Again, bishop takes e5 is quite a good move, but it's a difficult move to consider. It looks really wrong to give up the good bishop on h2, but it would have been interesting if you would have taken here. Then yeah, I have to recapture obviously, and nothing really looks good. This is not something that you want to play, but well, bishop takes, knight g4 is also a big problem. If you capture, this will lead to invasion on e6. And well, if you retreat here, then this is coming. Yeah, it's simply a terribly passive position. And white has a tremendous attack. If I need to give up this, it's not going to end well. So it's just really bad. Yeah, yeah, again, he didn't do that. He played, instead of this, he played the move, I think rook f4, right? Yeah, played the move rook f4. And after that, I definitely am back in the game. Knight d3 and rook h4. This was his idea. Rook f8, taking the f file. Bishop e2 and knight e5 back. The knight was hanging on d3. He now went bishop g3. Yeah, this also a sensible move, intending rook h2. Yeah, and here I'm making a mistake really. With the right continuation, I think I would have been really okay. I played rook e to f7, and I played this because I really I wrongly evaluated what is happening. The better move here was king to g8, just prophylactically moving out of the h file. If white tries to go now with rook g to h2, I can actually drop back to h8 and just cover h7 with a decent game. That's really not bad. Or he can try to play in a very direct way. He can take on e5, but after that I am also quite okay. Takes, knight g4, bishop g7, rook g to h2, and rook f to f7, covering f7 tactically by bishop takes d4 check. This position is quite okay. The computer is giving it about equal. Yeah, one point is that this is a slightly weak pawn. Let me get rid of this. This is a slightly weak pawn, those two. And well, my position has got some points. Yeah, I've got the bishop pair, and if I'm not getting checkmated quickly here, I'm definitely not in bad shape. But I didn't do that. I played something else. Didn't play king g8, but I played rook e to f7, wanting to use the f file. Yeah, of course I saw what's happening. Yeah, I saw this move, and now I thought that h5 would be okay, but it turns out that this isn't the case. I was still able to put up some very serious resistance with the moves queen d8 or king g8. They both probably lead to the same position. King g8, rook takes, and queen d8. trying to get g5, and it's not so easy for him to keep it. I mean, okay, he can try. Yeah, after queen d8, what was my main move in the analysis? I think knight to d1. Yep. And then knight d3 is possible, intending knight f4. And with the knight coming to f4, the situation is not at all that clear. Of course, I'm also threatening this with a check, winning the rook on h7. This is not given as a huge advantage by the comp, so I could have and should have played that. What I did was wrong. I played, as mentioned, I played the move h5. And my problem was that I was very satisfied with this kind of thing. Yeah, here black is in really good shape. Yeah, all of a sudden my pieces get active and can even argue black is probably better here. So this wasn't the problem. It was clear that if there is a problem, it is something with the piece sacrifice on h5. However, we both failed to see the best continuation now for white. And the best continuation, again, is pretty non-standard in my book. What white can do and what wins the game instantly, to be honest, what he played also wins, but the strongest is bishop takes e5, surprisingly. The reason is that after bishop takes, the only move that really makes sense, white can actually sacrifice here. Quite surprising. I mean, I didn't consider the sacrifice at this particular moment. Let me look at the line again. I don't want to show you something wrong. Yeah, this is an amazing sacrifice. I mean, it looks totally normal, but white is even giving up this so that now he's a whole rook down. Yeah, if I take it, but it's still a winning position. Yeah, if black takes it, this will lead to a checkmate. It's yeah, it's quite remarkable. What black can try to do is he can play king to g8 and not yeah, getting checkmated instantly, but it also is a winning position. Yeah, if you give it to the engine, white will win in this attack. The easiest actually to take. Yeah, and I have no squares for this rook. Yeah, this is a direct mate. Yeah, it's a disaster really. The main reason why this is difficult for a human is that the move bishop takes e5 really is not very it's not a very obvious move, and after this you even give up the exchange on h2 for for a rook deficit, and still you win. So that wasn't at all easy to see. What he is playing is actually a move that I saw relatively quickly after I went h5, but somehow I didn't see it before. He played the move queen to d1. Not this one. Oops, it keeps happening to me. Where is the main move in this jungle of lines? Queen to d1. Yeah, this is what he played. And now the idea is to take here twice, then with the queen on h5. And well, as soon as I saw the move, I recognized that I'm in huge trouble. Yeah, I went king g8. That's a relatively best defense, and he sacrificed. The point is that now the queen can take on h5, and this is going to end in trouble. Here I took a while to figure out proceedings, but it really is it is a lost cause. If I take it, queen takes, yeah, queen h7 is the threat. And what are you doing now to defend? There is really no defense. Yeah, you cannot move the bishop here even to a decent square. So white is definitely winning. After this, white can even do this and give up more material. Something like that is ultimately winning for white. Yeah, despite a rook deficit, it's an amazingly strong attack. Yeah, in the game, as mentioned, I went with the queen to d8, trying to get g5 back. bishop takes here on g6. Very strong stuff. Yeah, I took on g5 now, which definitely loses. Knight takes g6, however, also loses. But yeah, it was very strong performance now by Nijboer this part of the game. He's really playing this very convincingly. This and queen h5 is not ending well. Black will get checkmated probably, although it's not so easy to prove unless you probably invest hours. If I take on h4 here, at first I thought that even g6 would win, but bishop d4 in fact wins for black. It's not necessary, however. White will just retake on h4 and have a fantastic attacking position. For example, if we look at this, queen takes, yeah, there is this threat. Yeah. Black is a rook up here, yeah, it's a rook for 2 pawns, but I really don't think you can defend this. It seems the only line that is at least continuing the whole thing is to capture and play rook g7, after which this is leading to an excellent attacking game. Something like this, for example, is really ugly. Yeah, here White has a fantastic compensation. He's got 3 pawns for the piece and a big attack. I don't think that Black will survive this. Yeah, it's a really strong attacking performance. Yeah, in the game, as mentioned, I after bishop takes g6, where is it actually? Here, bishop g6. I took on g5 simply because I thought the other line is lost, so I have to go for that. This is probably even more lost in a way, but it is yeah, it is a lost cause. Bishop g6 is coming. I took here, went back. If you do a count, I'm an exchange and a pawn down, and there is no compensation here. The only reason why I continued was that he only had, we're playing here with 90 minutes for 40 moves plus increment of 30 seconds, and then after 40 moves, 30 minutes per player extra. And at this time he was down on a couple of seconds at one point, but not really troubled, yeah. But I continued because of the little time. And well, as long as you have a knight, you don't resign. This is old motto of some blitz players. And yeah, I'm not really a very late resigner. I resign when I think it's proper to do so. And actually here I did. So a very nice game by Nijboer. I really had no active idea the whole game. And now I can tell you one story that I couldn't tell before the game because it kind of would have spoiled the result a little bit, or at least my acting abilities would have been challenged. This line is something that I wanted to abandon from my repertoire. This kind of this kind of line here with knight d8, I wanted to abandon from my repertoire for quite a while because I'm perfectly aware that it is not a particularly great line. Black is just very passive, and one advantage of it is in blitz chess you can play moves very quickly here and get a time advantage and whatnot. That's all nice, but look at the position. It's so passive. White has a good game if he plays it well, and I really don't like the position at all. And actually, I always said that I will. The instant if I lose one game, the instant moment that this happens, I will abandon this line forever. And yeah, this is the time now. So if anybody is watching this video and they intend to do some prep on this line here, you can skip that part. I will never play this passive setup again. It's really not great. I think you can improve on my play certainly, but the kind of position type is just unbearable, yeah, to look at in tournament chess. You're sitting there and you have no active idea. So it's something that I wouldn't really recommend to play. Yeah, on the other hand, an interesting strategic approach by Nijboer. I think in retrospect this a5 move, or the idea to combine f4 with a5 was a good plan. It leads to a wide advantage and a very one-sided game. And yeah, it's something that can be recommended for white players if you happen to get this this line. So it's a good model game in a way for those who play the Ruy Lopez on the white side. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't nice to lose one of the final games in this year. I only lost 3 games this year. One was in January, one in May, and one now in December. So I had almost half year non-losing streak. Not bad. I also wanted to mention, to complete the picture, I also wanted to mention that I didn't do videos for all of my tournament games. I played some games where I didn't make a video. They were all draws, so and at times quite boring. There was even a game recently where, as black, my opponent simply traded everything and offered a draw, and it was kind of pointless, as I even was a rating underdog in this matchup. But it had really no chess content, so I will absolutely post every game that is interesting to post, but I won't do, I don't know, 15 move draws that really don't interest anybody, I think. So don't wonder if there are games missing. Yeah? If you might look at my FIDE card or something and say, okay, why is this guy not posting the other games? There were really not much to talk about. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, despite me getting a thorough beating. Okay, thanks for watching.